We want the right mindset before we take the action. You take the action to get the mindset. It's not mind over matter, it's matter over mind. So we all want to be spiritual gurus. We all want to be billionaires. We all want to be leaders, but we can't control what we put in our mouths. We can't resist a donut. We can't even get up on time. And that's what I realized myself. It's like, settle down, pull your head out of your ass, and let's just actually start doing something small here. And as soon as I started doing something small, predictably, every single day, my self-worth built, my pride built, because now I had actually something to be proud of. I couldn't think my way into becoming better. I couldn't think my way into feeling good about myself because that's impossible. So I just built that worth by doing things that made me worthwhile. You get value by doing valuable things. Self-love is real. No one's going to love you until you actually put that effort and love into yourself.
Welcome to Grow and Learn and Heal and Learn, wherever you're watching or listening. Today, I'm speaking to the unified man. It sounds fantastic, and I'm sure you'll discover a lot for yourself today. We're going to be talking about character building, about body shape, how it impacts your mind, how to train your mind, something that we've been talking about. We're going to be talking about purpose, meaning. My guest today is Neal Fisher, all the way from Brisbane, Australia. Welcome, Neal.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Welcome, everybody, to your experience.
I like the energy, Neal.
Well, that's what it is, Zarina. You'll find out is that I'm not going to tell, there's not a lot that I'm going to tell people that's new, but what I'm going to give them is energy. And that's what it really comes down to in life. In our hearts, we all know what we have to do. Every single one of us. It's not complicated. We just need that energy to charge us, to just push us through that limit that we have and get to it.
Okay, let's start with what's behind you. Is this a shrimp? The poster behind you?
No, it's a scorpion.
It's a scorpion. Does it have a special meaning?
Yeah, it's just the meaning of strength. I mean, look at it. It looks cool, doesn't it? Looks strong.
Yeah. I mean, if you knew what it was, I thought it was a shrimp. I mean, so it looked like behind your head. Okay.
Yeah, it's not the first time somebody said that, so don't worry, you're off the hook.
So Neal, you wrote the book. What is the book about, and what made you, what inspired you to write this book?
Well, 10 years of pain. Well, 28 years of 30 years of pain. It was my whole entire life of, I was blessed to have a beautiful childhood. But then, like all of us, we get to high school. It doesn't matter who we are. We get to our high school, our teenage years, and we all get crushed. We all get, torn and scarred, and we all get pulled in a million different directions. And that was demons within there, deep, dark demons, suicidal, depressive demons that I had to just fight and battle and repress and hide for years and years and years. So ultimately, it came to myself overcoming all of my challenges, pulling myself out of all of my mistakes that led me to write this book. And the funny thing is that I didn't even mean to write it. It was an accident. All I meant to do was just draw a little tiny, like a small document, something that I could give to people and say, hey, look, this is what worked for me. This is what I went through. And this can work for you too. But then as soon as I started writing it, I became possessed. The force flowed through me, and I just locked myself in a room for a month and just end up, and I came out with a book, Amazing, right?
And the book is called The Unified Man, or is there a different title? A Unified Man.
Yeah, a unified man building a nation from within. So it's for women as well. I just called it that because it's from a man's perspective written to a young man, but it's for all peoples. And the thing is, without strong men, everybody suffers, particularly women. So, I mean, if you jump on my website, the www.theunifiedman, you can find the link to it and all my programs and all that shit as well. Or if you just want to have a chat, go for it.
Okay. So let's give more clarity to the terminology. What's a unified man?
A unified man is clear, strong, and in control. I mean, every single problem that I faced in my entire life, and I realized that if I'm struggling with it, everybody's struggling with it. And it's that division within. It's that division between mind and body. And it doesn't matter whether it's a brutal dictator or an environmental catastrophe or a broken family or anxiety or depression, I realized that it all comes down to the individual and that schism in identity we have between our mind and our body. So I was unhealthy. I didn't have good self-talk. And why would you? If you look like shit, you're gonna feel like shit. So I just realized that I had to look after my body. I had to get my health back. And through my health, I had energy and mental clarity. I no longer had to battle these demons in my head because they disappeared. Because when you're healthy and strong, your physiology and your mind automatically says good things about you. And that's what I realized. So basically, it just means the unification of clarity between mind and body. And from there, then you can actually really start to access your actual consciousness and your true self. So you're just aligned. You're just aligned. It's actually really quite simple, but we overcomplicate it. And I did too.
Mm-hmm. What about when people say, yes, I do want to look good, I do want to maintain my body, and they give you 1,000 reasons, and they're valid reasons for them, of course. How did you overcome it for yourself? Like, I can't get up on
Well,
morning, I don't have energy, I don't have time, and so on.
well, I realized we want the right mindset before we take the action. You take the action to get the mindset. It's not mind over matter, it's matter over mind. So we all want to be spiritual gurus. We all want to be billionaires. We all want to be leaders, but we can't control what we put in our mouths. We can't resist a donut. We can't even get up on time. And that's what I realized myself. It's like, settle down, pull your head out of your ass, and let's just actually start doing something small here. And soon as I started doing something small, predictably, every single day, my self-worth built, my pride built, because now I had actually something to be proud of. I couldn't think my way into becoming better. I couldn't think my way into feeling good about myself because that's impossible. So I just built that worth by doing things that made me worthwhile. You get value by doing valuable things. Self-love is real. No one's going to love you until you actually put that effort and love into yourself. And that's how I got out of it.
Mm-hmm. And how did you start? What kind of small steps did you take at the beginning?
Oh, it's easy. It's you reach the sublime through subtraction. So it's not so much about hitting the accelerator. It's about taking your foot off the brake. All the things that poison us. So all the drugs I used to smoke, the alcohol I used to drink, the cigarettes I used to smoke, the fucking fast food I used to eat, all the pornography I used to watch, all the video games I used to play. I just got rid of everything that was numbing the pain. The wise man realizes that the bandages, all of those substances, all those distractions, they only hide your wounds. It's yourself that has to heal them. And that's what I was left with. I had to take that scary journey and that painful internal odyssey of discovering self and actually figuring out the true causes of what those pains were within. And the causes of those pains was that I was denying my call. I was denying my conscience. I was denying the path that was being laid before me by higher intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as I got rid of all of those things that destroyed me, I could start growing again. I could start breathing again. And I was actually able to move forward in life because there was nothing holding me back. So you automatically move forward.
How long did the process take? Was it just the point of decision and then it was, okay, I'm a different man? Or did it take a while until you admitted to yourself that now you're a different man? Did you accepted the fact?
Well, it depends on your mentality. There's three stages in personal development, right? There's you as your highest, best, perfect form, right? And there's you as you are now. The problem is when we get an identity between those two states, and that middle identity is the old you trying to fix yourself.
Mm.
Now, we all get locked in that identity. I'm guilty and I'm still shredding that identity because it implies that there's something that always needs to be fixed. It implies there's a past. It implies that there's something always in the background that is holding you down that you have to deal with. So it took me a long time to learn this, but that's irrelevant. As soon as you start, you'll feel good. So it's just simple things. Stop eating the fast food, stop drinking, stop smoking,
Mm.
and actually contend with yourself. because you have to push through that threshold of boredom initially, and also the anxiety of, oh my gosh, I have all this time now. What do I do? It's like I was working 6, 7 days a week doing this hard ass job that was just soul destroying. But then as soon as I stopped all that, I got my stuff together. Now I had all the time in the world and I felt worse than I did before. The anxiety was worse than before. The depression was worse than before because now what? It was just me. I had to face myself and look within and who the hell am I truly? And that's what people are going to find, that same process. I mean, it's harder staying the way that you are. And that's what I realized. Staying the way I was way harder. But in the long run, it's so much easier to actually step through that threshold because then you actually get that self-discovery and you figure out who you actually are.
Mm-hmm. I can't remember which author it was, but he's one of the first authors that ever wrote a book on personal development at the beginning of last century. And he actually said that until you stop seeing the world as flawed, including yourself, your life will never be perfect. So basically confirming what you just said, that even the road that you're taking, the path that you're taking towards your purpose, towards your ideal self, has to be accepted as perfect, as ideal, rather than there's something wrong with me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. There's nothing wrong with you because we're all born perfect, right? We're all born from God. We're all born from the source. The universe created us all. Like we weren't born from our mothers. We were born from the universe. There's a big distinction there. So you're born just the way that you are, the way you're supposed to be. It's like look at a child, right, Zarina? Every single child is born pure. They're fun, they're loving, they're expressive, they're playful, they're curious, they're intelligent, they're clever, they want to explore and discover. Every single one of us has that. No child is born evil, no child is born an asshole. It's like that's the natural state of a human being. We're expressive. But then the civilization constricts us. It torments us and tells us to shut the hell up and to fall in line. And then our parents do the same thing because they same thing that happened to them. And then ultimately we do it to ourselves. And by that stage, by it comes our teenage years, that's when it really solidifies into an identity. And those emotional neurotic holding patterns of emotion and self-expression get locked into the body. That's why people, when they actually snap out of it and they do something different, break their pattern, they'll like, I feel alive again. Wow, I feel like I did when I was a kid. Exactly, because that's your purity. It's always there. It never dies. It's just gone dormant. And that's my whole mission and my whole purpose. And my job is to help people rediscover that purity, that essence that they had, that youth when they were a child, who they truly are, their natural energy and their natural state of being.
Mm-hmm. And how do you do that? And how do you define purpose? I have my own way to define it, but I do want to hear yours. Well, what is the connection between purpose and meaning? And how did you discover it? Was this the path that you just described, or is there another process?
No, it's like the path, it's simple. You have to give up everything. You have to leave behind every single thing. The price of your new life is your old life. You have to give up all the addictions, all the behaviors, the identities, pretty much everyone in your life, your job, you name it. All of it has to go. You have to reset. You have to go on a voyage of discovery and leave it all behind. And I realized this and I found these answers by looking at life itself. When I look out my window here, all of the answers are obvious if you actually meditate and silence and actually hear what the world has to tell you. Look at every other life form on this planet. What's its purpose? What's its meaning? It doesn't have one. It doesn't need a meaning. It doesn't need something to actualize its existence. It is just a beautiful miracle of expressive animation. It is just the universe expressing itself. That's the meaning of life. There is no meaning. It is just a beautiful miracle that is. Mm-hmm. Now, there is an actual purpose to life. And that, again, is found when you look at life itself. What does every single other animal, every life form on this planet, what do they all have in common? What do they all do? They never give up. They always grow. Human beings are the only creature that ever give up. We're the only creature that ever commits self-destruction. Every other life form grows as big and as powerful and as expansive and as influential as it possibly can. Growth is the purpose of life. That is our purpose. And that's why we have all these problems. That's why I had all these problems, because I wasn't growing anymore. I was decaying. Soon as I went on a path of that self-discovery and growth, building myself from within, it all becomes clear. It all becomes simple. And now I feel proud of myself. Now I love myself.
Oh,
Now I
congratulations.
accept
If I could
myself.
say congratulations. Happy for you.
Oh, happy for everyone. And it's a gift. The beautiful thing is, Zarina, no one can give that to you. Only you can give it to yourself, right? And the beautiful thing is, when you give it to yourself, nobody can take it from you because nobody gave it to you. You gave it to yourself. It's yours to keep. It is yours to keep forever. But you have to give it to yourself every single day. If I don't do my process, if I'm one wrong decision from going back to that darkness, I eat the wrong thing today, I'm back in that darkness. I don't get up on time, I'm back in that darkness. It's earned. Same with life itself. Every organism seizes the day, and we must too. And we just align with that, everything takes care of itself automatically.
Yeah. Yeah, you answered my question before I actually asked it. It was whether there's a retracting back to the previous self if you're not doing the work, but apparently yes. And just a comment on my interpretation of meaning, it is actually that you create the meaning yourself. There is no meaning unless you attach a meaning to something that you're doing and make it important for yourself. Okay.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say, yeah, what the meaning of life is, whatever, as you say, whatever it means to you. It's subjective. There's no objective meaning. Whatever it means to you is what it means. So make it mean something.
What makes you happy every day apart from these what are these habits that you have? Well, what are the things that make you happy every day?
Oh, it's a simple process. So what we're doing right now, this is my peace. This is my purpose. This is my happiness. Because what I realized in my early 20s, I had my first downfall. My high school sweetheart, she left me because I wasn't there anymore. I was delusional. I wasn't giving love to a relationship. I was ignoring it. My body looked like shit. I was a gluttonous pig. I had narcissistic grandiosity, went bankrupt, just you name it. I did it all. And then it was a long process of 10 years of building myself back up, discovering myself emotionally, physically, spiritually. And then I finally got to a point where, okay, I did it right. I had a relationship. I had the money now. Like I'm not rich, but I still had the money to have choice, to do whatever occupation or work I felt like doing or needed to do. I had the body, I had the health. I had no more vices and no more addictions or negative substance abuse. None of that shit. I was clean. I was pure. I had made it. But guess what? I was more darker, more miserable than I'd possibly ever been in my entire life. I was at the absolute depths because now what? Now what do I do? And I realized that the ultimate pain is to go through this internal odyssey and this external voyage of adventure and discovery and growth to reach the top of the mountain and not to come back down to the world of the ordinary, the world of suffering, to serve our species. That is the greatest pain. If you stay in Never Never Land and revel in your triumph, you will know no suffering, because the completion of the journey is this. What we're doing right here, right now, this is the most important part of everybody's journey to discover yourself, heal yourself, build yourself, reach your elevation, and then you have to give it away to others. That is the path of initiation. That is the purpose. This is my happiness.
Mhm. So would you say that the point of giving your gifts away, starting to share what you've managed to achieve and everything that you've overcome, is this the part that is your purpose? The sharing, the last part, or is it all?
Oh, it's all one big purpose because I can't share unless I build myself. The whole purpose is to build yourself and then build others.
Mhm.
Simple as that. And I mean, there's a bigger picture behind that because it's like for me, the mission is to build the nation and to build the future. The nation is you and I collectively as a species, every single one of us, building ourselves individually. And then because we have that individual strength and wisdom and drive, we've found our purpose. Then we do it autonomously. We do it automatically. And if each of one of us individually is automatically striving towards the highest purpose, it means collectively, as a species, as a planetary humanoid, we are advancing. We're setting a new higher standard of baseline operation. And then from there, that's how we build the future. The future is a time that's just different than now and better than now. And that's a beautiful thing because it's not actually hard. The harder part is living in the darkness that every single one of us either went through or that most of us still lives in. That's so much harder. I mean, what we're doing here isn't miraculous work. This is just the baseline standard of how a human being is supposed to be operate. You're supposed to be healthy, happy, have a great relationship, have a family, and have spiritual connection with a higher power. That's it. That's all we're doing here. It's not miraculous. We're just moving up to that baseline. And once that baseline standard is set, then we can go beyond that and unlock our genius potential.
Mhm. At which stage do you find yourself at the moment? Have you reached your genius potential, or are you still at the point where you say, I've reached everything before or is it a process? How do you see that?
Oh, for me, it's a never-ending process. For me, it's the unlocking of the genius potential. It's obviously doing this, sharing and inspiring others. I'm showing them the path that I took and how they can do it as well. But then beyond that, there's something within myself. I mean, I'm still on this journey myself because as soon as you get through one cycle, there's another cycle. It's a never-ending cycle from birth to death, and that's what's exciting. You can always grow bigger and stronger. So for me, like I'm in the process as well. I haven't made it. I'm not some Zen spiritual ultimate guru. Hell no. I'm just a man with a mission. And I want to share that mission because the more I share it, the more I unlock of myself and the more others unlock of themselves.
Mm-hmm. Well, apart from sharing at podcasts, you work individually with people. Is that right?
Yeah,
What?
absolutely. So obviously individually and in group settings. Like I got two programs and both the programs that I built for myself, that I use myself. So the first one is what I call neurochemical mastery. All that is, that's just a fancy way of saying it's a formula for happiness. Happiness is four chemicals: dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and endorphins. And it's just a system of regimentation. It's like the introductory course. And the thing is, every podcast I do, the first person to reach out and contact me gets that program for free. You get to work with me. That's just like a bonus I give. So the first person who contacts me on Instagram or Facebook, Neal Fisher, they get it for free. So that's just a baseline program of how to access each of those chemicals. And when you have those releasing consistently, you have a constant state of feeling powerful and feeling fulfilled. You now have impact and control over your life. But then from there, there's obviously the more intensive program, which is one-on-one, which is universal mastery. And that's how I actually teach you how the universe truly works, how this reality, this illusion around us that is not what it appears, how to actually get deeper in touch and connect with the universal source and unlock that genius potential.
Is the first program a group live program or is it recorded?
It's like this. Like I have group calls with people, and then also too, like you can talk to me anytime on my phone. Like this is what I do. It's not like I'm not some unreachable god or any bullshit like that. It's like, hey man, you're struggling or you got questions, just send me a message. I'll get straight back to you. And then there's obviously a workshop every week just a Zoom call like this. But then obviously the other program, it's one-on-one. Well, then obviously we'll be a lot more time spent together, and you'll have a lot more access to me, and I'll give a hell of a lot more to you as well.
Fantastic. Is there anything else that you'd like to share that I missed asking you? I know that we can't cover it all in such a short time, but something that needs to be said right now.
Yeah. Anything that isn't this present moment is irrelevant. You'll find that the entire path of your life, we're always running away. We're running away from ourselves. You got to start walking towards. And that's what I realized. You talk to any person and they all say the same thing. My life slipped by in an instant. I woke up one day and I was dead. Why is that? I'll tell you why that is. It's because nobody is present. Very few people actually experience time as it truly is. There is no past. That's why there's nothing to heal. There is no trauma to overcome. There is no future. There's nothing to be anxious about. It doesn't exist. It's not real. The only thing that's actually real is now present experience. That's where life is. That's where peace is. And when you stop running away from yourself and walk towards your actual purpose, you walk towards yourself, breathe fully into yourself and lock into this present moment energy, all of the answers, all of the energy, and all of the peace that every single one of us crave, that's where it's found. That's where your power is found. And that is the only place to live.
Okay, and the very last question, what kind of physical exercises do you do, or physical regimen do you have?
It's just all weight training, baby. Weight training, weight training, weight training. Lift that heavy shit. And obviously, and boxing as well. I mean, you gotta have a level of physical prowess. You gotta have, like, violence isn't cool, but you have to be capable of violence because it makes you wise, it makes you respectful, and it makes you humbled because you realize that you're not who you think you are. We watch all these movies and all these action films and play all these video games, and we're full of shit. I mean, every man thinks he's a stud and he thinks he can fight. Trust me, you can't. You can't. So you got to have ability, and that gives you confidence. So it's just going back to being an organism. I mean, look at every other organism. They can all run, they can all lift heavy shit, and they can all defend themselves. And through that, you get that pride and that confidence. Critically important. If you want to reach the sublime, you want to reach the spiritual realm, you first have to master the physical realm. And it's not hard. It really is not hard when you have someone to show you the process. And that's why I do this ultimately, because that is the responsibility and the initiation right of every single human being. Look at every other higher intelligence mammal. They have instinct, but they must learn. They must be shown the path of this life. And the same as us for human beings. When we don't have those role models, we don't have those initiators or ritual elders to show us the way, we crumble.
Neal, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. I'll put all the links below to your books, to your website. Indeed, an inspiring conversation. I enjoyed it 100%. Thank you.
Oh, absolute pleasure. Anytime, mate. Anytime. Lovely.